Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of The Creative Exchange. It's your girl, SARA, DIETSCHY, rhymes with Peachy. Very special episode today because we have Charli Marie.
Hi!
So she is a designer, but also a YouTuber. So that's why I'm such a big fan of what you do, because it's so cool to see unique niches on YouTube that are really focused in on these different creative subjects.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into a lot of good stuff, but first of all, just who are you? Where do you live? And tell me a little bit about the design work you do and your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I live in London, but I'm from New Zealand, so the accent is a mix of both by now, because I've been in London about 3.5 years.
Your accent really threw me off when
Really?
I first met you. I'm so bad at guessing accents. Maybe I'm just uncultured. I thought I was just like, oh, she lives in London. That accent makes sense. Yeah, it's a British accent. It's just like a quirky British accent.
Yeah, it's like some sort of weird dialect.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a mix. So I don't really fit in England or in New Zealand anymore, because it's a mixture of both. But yeah, so I live in London and I work remotely for a company that's actually based here in the US. It's called SARA, and we make email marketing software for creators. So a lot of the people on the team are creators, and they have their own YouTube channels and blogs and things like that too, which is really fun. So I get to do both. I get to be a designer for a company and also do all my content stuff. Yeah.
You're in it. I think a lot of YouTubers will get into the educational realm after they have their job in design or whatever. So I think it's really helpful that you're in the middle of it, you're active on projects.
Yeah, for sure. I love it too, because it means that I never run out of content, because there is always a new project that I'm working on. So there's always something new to talk about. Yeah.
That's so cool. So when did you start your YouTube channel?
About 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You're like, well,
very
that's a long
cool.
time. Yeah.
No, I started my channel in 2011. I'm saying that, but I wasn't consistent until 2014.
Okay.
Ish. Yeah, I always say the more interesting story, other than the 3,000 to 100,000, is the 0 to 3,000, because when you get started, I think that's the most difficult.
For sure.
When you started your YouTube channel, where were you? Were you in school for design? Were you just starting out? What were you up to?
So I was in New Zealand, and I was actually already working. So I'm 29, so I'm kind of older than a lot of YouTubers, I guess.
Honestly, you don't look a day shy of 21.
So yeah, I started when I was already finished school, was already working, and I actually started it because I wanted to talk to people who were still in design school. I started watching YouTube, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would have loved to have had something like this when I was studying, and be able to hear from someone who had just been through this whole major project thing, which is what we do at the end of a design degree, which was just a week of hell, no sleep, getting it all done, and just a pep talk from someone who had been through it would have been nice to see. So I thought maybe I could make that pep talk and turn it into a channel.
I think that's when the best channels get started, is filling a hole that you want to see in the world. I think a lot of people have that craving to create now, which is so good. It's epic. I think we're living in the best time to be a creator, but it has to come from a place of, okay, I like to do X, Y, and Z, and I see this hole in entertainment or education or what have you, and I'm going to fill that need. So that's cool. What was your experience with design school, college?
Design school?
Yes.
Well,
do you guys call it college?
We call it university.
University.
College for us is what high school is for you. So it gets confusing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell me about university.
Well, my degree was a 4-year degree, but I took 5 years to do it because I took a break midway through. I just got super overwhelmed.
Sometimes you got to.
Yeah. And I'm would definitely classify myself as an overachiever as well. So
I took a break and never went back.
There you go. I did go back, and yeah, it was good for me to have that break though, because I think I chilled out a bit, and I wasn't so much about the gotta get the best grades when I went back. So yeah.
So you were like that even in university. That's how I was in high school.
So it just transferred for me. Yeah.
I need that perfect ACT score. I need to get the scholarship, because here in the States, college, university, it's pricey.
Yeah.
That was my mentality in high school, but once I got to college, it was so miserable that my expectations for my grades just went down the hill. But I like that even at that level, that means you enjoyed it. Yeah. You were enjoying design.
I definitely enjoy work much more than I enjoy school, though.
Okay.
Like, I'm not one of those people who looks back on, you know, the college, university
The good old
days
times.
or high school. Yes, the good old times. I'm
Yeah.
like, no. I like being in the workforce. I like having a job. I like making money and like having much more control over my life, basically, I feel.
What's the most valuable thing that you think you did learn from university?
That I didn't learn or did learn?
Both.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
So one thing that I think university didn't really teach me very well was the business side of design. Like, we did have one class about design and business, but it focused very much on being an agency and like starting your own agency sort of thing, which is a weird thing to focus on because how many people actually do that? I don't know.
Instead of being
A
your
freelancer
individual.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, there was no class about contracts and like, you know, good payment terms or whatever and how to get paid on time.
Really?
Yes, which I feel like there should have been, which again is one of the reasons why I like making my videos so that I can talk about that stuff.
You talk about the real stuff.
Yeah, and the difficult stuff sometimes. But something it did teach me, I think, that I don't know if I would have learned so well if I'd tried to teach myself design, which is something, a very valid choice. Lots of people do it, is design thinking. So like the critical thinking side of the design process and really understanding the problem rather than just diving in and making something that looks nice. Because that is like the foundation for everything, is understanding the problem and what the solution is going to be. Yeah.
I'm such a fan of the saying that good design is invisible.
Yes.
Because I think, one, it has to solve that problem. And a very practical example for my stuff, my personal branding, is this idea of like peachy.
Yeah.
And it was something that was relevant with society and obviously was like super hip all of a sudden because of the peach emoji. But it also solved the problem of no one knew how to pronounce my last name.
Right.
So it instantly became this branding element that also solved a problem of, DIETSCHY, because it rhymes with peachy. Perfect, right? But being in school for that, and then now it's funny because you're also taking on this role of an educator online.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, you and a lot of design people online are providing that value that you could get at university. So what is your perspective now that it's 2018, there's so much free knowledge out there and there's so many opportunities that honestly you could probably go work for someone in a year and learn so much. Has your perspective changed at all with going to university for design?
Kind of. I know that myself at 18 when I went to university, I was not equipped for being self-taught. I didn't have the drive or the like know-how to teach myself. Like I said, I was like overachiever in high school, so I was still very much all about the grades and like making sure the teacher liked my work, which is not what design is about, you know. So I don't think I was in the right frame of mind for that. But like if I was wanting to learn design now, definitely would not go to university. I think there is so much knowledge out there that people share, and like you said, you can learn on the job and work for someone. So I think it depends on what kind of person you are. If you need that structure around,
especially at a young age,
yes,
some people really need that.
Exactly. If you need that structure at a young age, or you're just not sure where to start, then doing a course doesn't even have to be like an actual degree, like a course of some kind, I think is really valuable.
Did you get internships while you were in university, or were you very focused on school and then the moment you got out it was like, okay, what are my job choices?
I didn't really do an internship, but I did find myself falling into some freelance work while I was in university, which was really cool. So I worked in retail. I have many years of experience selling things to people in shops. So, you know, that's my fallback plan.
You're probably a very empathetic person
I
as
guess
well.
so.
Because like, I feel like anyone who works in retail, you have to let some ish go.
Oh, yeah.
You got it. Like when that little kid is messing up your beautiful display.
That you just spend hours working on.
You just gotta be like, oh, okay.
And speaking of little kids, I worked in a baby store in my like second to last year of university, I think it was. And they had the person who was doing their email marketing, newsletters and web stuff left, like just all of a sudden quit. And they were left without anyone. And I was like, I do design. Like, can I
try? Hop in there?
Yeah. So I hopped in there and I did some like little graphic layouts and things, none of which I'd show anyone these days because they're all terrible, but it was good experience for me working with a client and like serving a need and like my designs being seen by people and having the impact on like, did it make people come into the sale and check it out or whatever.
Oh, that's so cool. And I think those opportunities come in places that you don't even expect.
Right. Like I didn't expect when I took this job in a baby store that I would be doing design. I thought I was just going to be like selling kids clothes.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important. I think regardless if you are searching out for what you want to do in this life, regardless, just getting a job and working somewhere, you have no idea where it's going to lead you.
Yeah, and work ethic as well, I think.
Exactly.
Because I've had a job since I was about 13 of some form or another, like started with a paper run, then working in a supermarket or whatever. And I think it taught me good work ethic and how to like focus and be okay with doing something that I don't love as well. Because even in my job these days, there's parts of it I don't love.
Exactly.
That you
It's
just have
not
to do.
all rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah, exactly.
Even one of the most valuable jobs that I had, not because of what I was doing, it was refereeing basketball.
Ooh, interesting.
Like, I love basketball, so that's why it was fun for me at the time. But that is where I met someone who was really getting into video.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden was transitioning into like working for a production company. So every weekend when I was refereeing 6th graders playing basketball, I was also just at his ears at all times. Okay, so what is focal length again? What's the difference between a prime lens and a zoom lens?
Yeah.
What's that, you know? And it's so easy to, when you're learning from someone and you can ask them whatever questions.
Yeah.
The internet's the best, but I would say the thing above that is to actually have someone like a mentor who you can just straight up ask questions.
Yeah.
And those can come in really unexpected places.
Yeah.
Did you have a certain person or people throughout your career or school that you've really relied on as a mentor?
I think I had a lot of online mentors. So I think mentors can be either they know you and they know that they're your mentor, or they can be like mentors from afar, you know?
Totally.
So I had a lot of mentors from afar throughout university. But in my first job in tech, working at a tech company making software, I had a colleague who was actually kind of like a peer, like we're actually in the same year at university, but he had moved into the web design space earlier than I did. I spent 1.5 years working in like print graphic design before making that leap. And he was amazing to learn from. Yeah. Like just watching how he did things and learning from his process and what parts I could take and apply to mine.
And it's so helpful when other people have already been through things that you can learn and be like, oh, I actually don't need to go down that road because you already went down that road.
Exactly.
And it's not going to be valuable to me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to change gears super quickly.
Do it.
You were at VidCon recently.
I was at VidCon recently. That is quite a change.
Yes. And we have a mutual friend, Roberto Blake, that you're on a panel with. He is actually the last Creative Exchange episode, if you guys want to check that out. But what did you guys talk about? And what did you guys talk about? But also go into a little bit about the importance of personal branding.
Right.
In the YouTube sphere.
So you answered the first question with the second.
Is that basically what you guys talked about?
We talked about branding. We had planned, because Roberto and I have known each other online for a while, we'd always wanted to do a panel together at VidCon with Karen Cavett, who was also on the panel, because she was like one of the originals in the graphic design YouTube space. She focuses more on DIY now. But yeah. So we ordered a panel about branding and how you can stand out on YouTube through your personal branding and the importance of it all, which was really fun. Something I think people don't often realize about branding is that it's not about the logo. That's just one very small part of it, but that your brand is like everything you do, not even just the visuals, but like how you talk, how you introduce your podcast, that's part of your brand. So that's what we tried to instill in people, was to think about, firstly, realize that branding is everything. And secondly, think about what the impression is you want to give, because you can have an impact on that in the choices that you make in your visuals and your thumbnails and things like that.
It's everything.
Yeah, they can all come together to form this impression that people will have of you, and it's not up to chance, right? You can have an impact on that and decide what you want people to see.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think people don't think about that, or not that they don't think about, but sometimes when you're constantly in the limelight, you're in front of the video, you're saying all these things, it gets repetitive to you. However, to the viewer, every single person isn't watching every single one of your things.
Exactly.
So things that are important to branding, like the way, like actually introducing yourself to every video, certain elements that kind of describes who you are and like what you're about. That's so important, because every video you put out, every picture you put out, whatever it is, especially on YouTube, you're gonna have that audience that doesn't know who you are. Yeah. And you want to be able to let them know in a short amount of time.
For sure. An exercise that I make people do, because I've hosted a workshop about branding a couple of times at the Europe VidCon the first time it happened, and then also VidCon US a couple of times ago. And an exercise to get people to do is to open up their YouTube channel on their laptop, phone, iPad, whatever they have, show it to the person next to them and get the person next to them to describe like some adjectives of what they think your content is like based on what they see, your profile photo, your banner, your thumbnails. Like, what do you think this is? And that's really interesting for people because sometimes it matches and they're like, great, I'm on the right track. And other times they're like, whoa.
Like, you have no idea.
Yeah, that's not at all what I do. So you've got to make some changes so that people can get your content right.
That's also a good exercise for websites as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm actually redoing my website right now.
Ooh,
I haven't had, oh man, this should have been a video we recorded. How long are you here for again?
I mean, till Sunday. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I can finish it tomorrow. You can come back tomorrow because I've been working on my website for like a minute.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same thing with designing this office. If you guys are watching the video form of this podcast, it's been really messy in here for the past few podcasts because Yo Girl is completely redoing the office. It's a mess. But I have to do things in small chunks just because there's so many things happening. So doing my website in small chunks has been very frustrating because there's a lot of different aspects and stuff. Yeah. As a person who doesn't just design, but you're a part of the process of that web development process a lot, right?
Yeah.
What are some of like the purposes and the people that should have websites?
Mm-hmm.
Because for a long time, I still have this belief that the number one most important thing first is just to create stuff.
Right.
And I think social media outlets like Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube can be perfect platforms for your work. And the website shouldn't be the first thing that you have to worry about being perfect. But I've now found myself in this place where I have so many things going on and I kind of need that central hub to hold everything.
Exactly.
So for people out there, filmmakers, designers, photographers, who do you think are the people that it's most important to have a website, and just like why?
Yeah.
Why a website?
So I think that you're right in that you should have a website after you've started creating things. So the website, if you're going to be a creator of making content of any sort, whether it's photos, videos, whatever, start with that first, because without that, there's no point in having a website, really.
Because so many people are flipped. So many people get so worried about
having a website first and then making, Yeah, you're right. Even if you're wanting to start a blog, which is going to be on a website unless you're posting it on Medium, you should have content ready before you go live with it anyway.
And I'm such a fan of things with already social backed things. Like Medium, there's people there. There's an audience. There's not an audience right now for SARA.com.
Right.
But there's an audience on Medium if I want to post blogs.
Yeah. The reason though I think that you should have a website and be starting to build that up, so it's great that you're focusing on it now, is because you own that space. Medium, they could change everything and you might not be able to.
That's true.
Yeah. Didn't they do a thing recently where some things are paid?
They put it behind a paywall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That happened. YouTube. We don't own the space. YouTube is at their will to do whatever they want with our videos, and they do.
That the truth.
Yeah. Same with Instagram. You never know for sure that your posts are going to appear in the feed. So what I like about a website is that you control it and you own it, and you can use it for whatever you like. So say right now YouTube is your main thing, but if you were always linking people to SARA.com, then you can make the thing that they get directed to from there whatever you like. Right now it might be YouTube. In the future it might be something else. But there's that one central spot that they know they can go to if they need to find SARA.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And that's also the reasoning why now I'm kind of drawing a focus back to emails as well.
Yes. Good.
Because, you could probably talk about emails for a minute, but for me in the beginning, I hated every email that would come through my inbox. So my thinking was, I will never collect the email.
I don't want to be that person.
I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with all these social medias, you're at the will of their notifications. And it's insane. But over the past 15 years, the one thing that hasn't changed and the one thing that people still use
and check every morning
is email.
Right.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
You're going to have to cut through more clutter now.
Yeah.
But that's been the most consistent thing, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
So this could, be an opportunity to do a little plug for the company you work for too.
I mean, that's not why I'm here, but
that's not why she's here. Go check out her YouTube channel and her socials. But I'm also very curious about the company you work for and why creative people should also think about emails.
Of course. So SEVA, where I work, we are email marketing software for creators in particular. Like that's who we focus on when we're designing our software. I think a lot of other email marketing platforms, like they're like for everyone, or they're mostly for online stores and that sort of thing. So perhaps things aren't super ideal for creators, but we do. And what I have found, and what we as a company have found to be really good with email, is when the email looks and feels personal. So there's some email tools that get you to like basically make a mini website that you send to people's inboxes.
And people are so used to that. It's an immediate delete.
Exactly. So we focus more on like plain text, like just writing, like you're writing a message to a friend. And that's what works best, because then it feels more of a connection to it, right? And it feels like they're hearing from you, Sarah, not like your website sending an automatic email to them, which no one wants to read that. Yeah.
So do you provide the same services that a MailChimp would provide with lists and all those things? So it's just the difference are the tools that you're offering and how you send
emails. For sure. So it's like we're a MailChimp alternative that focuses more on creators and also on automation as well, so that you don't have to go in and be sending a newsletter every week. It's more about setting up a funnel that when someone joins your list, they then get this email, and if they click this link, they're going to get this one. If they click this link, they get this one, and like send them down a path.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is it similar pricing structure? Because like MailChimp, you know, you get the first 2,000 free,
right?
But then it gets pretty expensive pretty quick.
Yeah. So ours is paid software, so it's paid per month. We don't have a free tier, but we do have like a free month or 2-week trial, so that you can come in and try it out. But we really aim to be for people who are making money online, or like wanting to make money online, so that they do want to invest in a tool like this.
It pays itself.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and we have like a new feature we just released is purchases, which links in with like WooCommerce or Shopify, whatever like online store you're using, so that you can see directly, like, I sent this email and this is how much money I made from sending it, basically.
Gotcha. And how do you spell this if people want to check it out?
SEVA. Seva. Yes.
See your accent.
I know,
it sounds
it's confusing.
Like sever, but it's Seva.
Yeah, Seva. That's right. Seva, if I say it in American. Yeah.
Seva.
And if you go to the website, I designed the website.
There you go. Boom. So from a designer's perspective, that it's weird, I guess, when certain strategy lines up with less. You know, the whole
isn't that interesting?
Less is more strategy. So talk about that, because when you were talking about how design should solve a certain problem, sometimes that means that you have to like scale back what you've learned.
Definitely.
And understand that, oh, this requires this. So tell me maybe about like a specific project, or just what you've learned on how to like address those problems and be like, okay, this is not my time to be like to
creative.
Show off my skills, you know, because I think that's tricky.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing, is when you know that design is about solving a problem, then you don't get hung up on like, oh, I'm not allowed to be like super creative with this, because that's not the main solution to this problem. Like with emails, like we're talking about, the solution to the problem of people just seeing it as spam and deleting things straight away is to have less design, and to design the email to just look like someone opened up the compose window in Gmail and started typing, right? So it is still design, but it's just less like stuff in the design. That was the super technical term for it.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. And I think a lot of times, I think this is applicable for designers, filmmakers, photographers, whatever. A lot of times your ego can get in the way too, of maybe just because you can do it doesn't mean that's what you should do. Yeah. And a lot of times with videos, I want to make the best, most pretty thing all the time. But one, sometimes it's not practical. And two, sometimes that's just not what works.
Yeah. It's this thing where like we always, as creative people, we want to make things the best we can, right? But sometimes there's this level where the effort that you have to put in and like the return you're going to get from it, they don't match up. So you could spend hours and hours and hours and hours more on your videos and like getting them absolutely perfect. But the extra like views or, you know, enjoyment that people would have watching it wouldn't be worth that extra time. Yeah.
Which is depressing sometimes.
I know. It's difficult. It's the same with, I've seen people recently questioning Instagram and like whether you should be posting the like super fancy DSLR photos edited in Lightroom, or if it should just be like photos taken on your iPhone.
Something that I've always done on Instagram is a lot of times they're just iPhone edits, but I like to make those look good. Exactly. So that's my middle ground is I'm going to take mostly pictures from my Instagram on my iPhone just because that's easy, but I can find enjoyment of just editing my iPhone picture, and it's not going to take long.
Exactly.
You know, what are your thoughts on IGTV?
I was just about to bring that up actually, because
do you have anything that you're thinking
thoughts?
About? Yeah.
At the moment, I am trying to figure out what IGTV is going to be for me, because I'm like, this is an extra like thing I have to think about now, really. But what I've been trying is daily vlogs on IGTV. Last time I was in New York last year, I did a 10-day vlogging, like daily vlog series, like filmed on my G7X and edited, whatever, posted on YouTube. This time I was like, I don't know if I can like quite bring myself to have the time to do that. So how about I just film some clips on my phone and then edit them together on my phone and see what I can make with this.
Interesting. So what are you using?
I'm using an app called Video Shop.
Okay.
To edit them. It does vertical video, and it doesn't try and like put black bars on it or anything, which it seems like a lot of the...
Isn't that crazy how there's still somehow a gap in the market for editing on your phone?
Yeah.
Vertical video is not new. Has been a thing.
Yeah. Even YouTube, like you can post vertical videos now, but it's harder to edit them. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to try out I film, edit everything on the phone thing. And I think it's a place that could be more for like the vlogging stuff that I used to do on YouTube, but I found the amount of effort that it takes is honestly not worth the payoff. And at the end of the day, I don't think I'm solely a vlogger. That was like never really me.
Yep.
And so I love to bring vlogging aspects into like more tech and creativity videos. I think that's where I can be unique. But I definitely see Instagram more as the whole personal thing. Oh, let me bring you more into my life. But with IGTV, it's almost the pressure of now being more fancy.
Right. So I'm just trying to really not go that route. Right. Because let's be honest, these vlogs I've been making on my phone, they're not great. I have an iPhone SE,
watch them.
And so the camera's not that great.
I need to make sure I'm following you on Instagram. Plug your handle.
My handle is Charli Prangley, which neither of those words are easy to spell because Charlie has no E and then Prangley, you know.
Oh, no. Oh, you're a Charlie without an E.
I'm Charlie without an E. I am. Correct. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I look forward to checking them out. I think that's what everyone is kind of wondering.
Is like
who do YouTube is kind of like, what do I do here? Do I repurpose content? Do I blah? But I think it's a really good opportunity for the people who haven't made the leap to YouTube yet.
Yeah.
To really sink their teeth into something new and exciting and long form content that can be whatever you want.
I've seen some people who I've followed on Instagram and they're like, like Instagram is their thing. I would say that Twitter and YouTube are more my thing, you know, in terms of social media
love Twitter
content. Yeah, same. But I've seen people now starting to make videos on Instagram where they could never quite get onto YouTube. Like it just wasn't their priority, and like they wanted to make video, but like it wasn't their favorite platform, so it's harder to bother to do it, you know. Yeah. But I think they're going to do really well on IGTV because they already have that audience there. Yeah. So it makes sense.
We shall see.
Yeah.
We shall see. So you've been doing YouTube for 5 years, right? So recently you had the opportunity to do the YouTube Nextup. Is that what it's called?
I think it was in August 2016.
Okay, so tell me about this program. How long does it last, and what do you do?
Yeah, so it's open for creators between 10 and 100,000 subscribers. So it's meant to be for like smaller channels, and I say it in quote marks because I still think that's a pretty big channel. You know. So I applied thinking, there's going to be like hundreds of people, thousands of people applied at this. I probably won't get it, but I did. And that's
amazing.
What? So then I had to take a week off work because what it is a week that you spend in the YouTube space. So mine was in London, so I was in the London YouTube space. And they have like workshops on production and cameras and lighting, editing, but also content strategy, which I found really valuable. Thinking about your audience, what your mission is with your channel, and different types of content that you can make to align to that, series and things like that. I felt like it was really like this turning point for me in committing to design videos happened at Nextup, because I was doing like fashion videos and DIY projects, all of the things, you know, that I loved. But I was like, I'm doing YouTube because I want to help young creatives. And
I think it helps to find that niche and to focus in on something.
Yeah. And so that was, I think, what I needed to really sit back and think about that, to say, okay, I'm all right with essentially cutting off this part of the audience that's here for those other things and just going all in on design. Yeah. So it was a really fun week. There was like 15, 16 people or something on it.
So it was a small group.
Yeah, pretty small group. We all got pretty close. Yeah. it was a lot of fun. And we filmed a video in the YouTube Space Studios as well during that time. That was like our project, was to make a video, and they encouraged us to make something that we don't normally make. Try and step outside of our comfort zone a little bit, use maybe the talents of some of the other people there.
What was your video?
I filmed something on the green screen, which is fun, because I actually for a minute studied motion graphics at university. I thought that was going to be like my thing I focused on. And then I discovered that it went more into like visual effects type stuff. And I was like, I just want to make typography move around on screen. So maybe this isn't for me. But that's what I did for this video. I filmed on the green screen, and I did like some moving type in the background. Awesome. It was really fun. Yeah.
That's cool. What was one of the biggest nuggets of advice that you got from the content strategy side of it?
I think it was about the different types of content you should have. And I'm probably not going to remember them all right now, but it's like tentpole content, which is content around certain events that's like going to spike and be popular for a certain time. Yeah, topical, but then likely drop off again. Series driven content, so stuff that you can come back to again and again, and all of those videos are going to help out each other as well, because there'll be like similar things in the titles and coming up and recommended and things like that. And what was the other one? I think it was like can't remember the word for it, but it was like content that you put a bit more effort into. So it's the videos that you don't make all the time, but it's going to be like an extra special one when you do. And so that green screen video for me was one of those pieces of content.
And sometimes those videos, those projects aren't going to get you the most views or the most likes or whatever you're looking for, but I think a lot of times that is what leads to bigger opportunities.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I think a lot of the videos or the series that I did that took the most time, they weren't going to get the most views, but they proved to people that, one, I am a storyteller and I know my way around a camera, and I can be a proper filmmaker, you know, and that really helped me expand into, at the time, people started paying me for weddings. People started, like, I hate wedding filmmaking, but you can make money from it, and it takes skill. It takes storytelling. So me kind of making these videos that took a lot of time, but they proved that I could make videos, and they led to really cool jobs, but they also led to just credibility.
Yeah. And
down
also
the line on YouTube.
Probably expanding your own skills as well, right? Forcing you to put more effort into something, like you learn new things.
Because the reason why I started was I wanted to take that next step, and I wanted to learn. So when you have the opportunity to do that on your own, and you're not taking a big risk when like a client is attached or something, that's always super good, because you can have that freedom to just create. Yeah, totally. You know? Is that how your YouTube channel started out? Were you like, I just need to do something different, or I mean, I guess you said it, that's something that you wanted, but did it start out as something uncomfortable? Because did you have to learn how to video edit and stuff?
So I knew how to edit because I had done motion graphics and animation at university, but being in front of the camera was super new. And I look back at my old videos and I'm like, who is this person?
So cringy. Like, I've unlisted so many videos.
I've hidden my first ever video because it was called Welcome to Charli Marie TV, and I felt like that might be one that might make people watch it first when they come to my channel, and that is not a good first impression these days. So I privated that one. But yeah, there's a lot of old videos I kept up because I think that the content in them is still good, just my presentation of them is terribly cringy and awkward and uncomfortable.
You probably know now when you're on camera, you have to give 150% for the audience to feel like you're giving 100%.
Yes. I learned the hard way from many videos where it looks like I'm really upset and grumpy that I should like try and smile when I talk so that I don't have like the resting face. I don't know if you swear on this podcast. So
you say resting bitch face.
Yeah, there we go.
And a lot of girls, I feel like, have to learn how to do that more, because for some reason it seems like a guy talking and not smiling is like normal, and that's fine. Why is that? But it's almost like when girls aren't smiling 24/7, you're like, who is that? Lighten up, sweetheart. You know, it's just like, oh my God, not even go down that road. But it's more enjoyable, I think, for the audience too, and it translates the feeling of I'm having fun.
Yeah, like I am enjoying myself.
I am enjoying myself.
for sure.
Oh my God, I'm the same exact way. Guys, do not go in the archives of our YouTube channel and pull up
they're
old
all
videos.
going to. It's going to happen. Yeah.
We're going to get screenshots of us just... Oh,
I actually did a talk about my YouTube journey the other day at a conference, and I had a screenshot from my first ever video. And the first one it stopped on was this super awkward face. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this because it is very indicative of how awkward that whole video was.
Exactly. And it's encouraging to other people to know you got to start somewhere.
And you got to make fun of yourself too.
Exactly. You know? As a designer, do you code?
I do code actually. That's fairly new for me. I started learning start of last year.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
What did you focus on first? Like HTML, CSS, or backend stuff?
Yeah, mostly HTML and CSS, but our website at SARA is built on WordPress, our marketing site. So I've been learning some PHP as well.
Cool.
And yeah, feeling quite proud of some of the things that I can do. Like for our conference that we had recently, it's called Craft and Commerce. It's like a conference for creators. And I built the conference website, and I had this form that attendees fill out with their like name and email and their social links. And then I made that form details go to this like WordPress backend post type to get posted on the website on the page of all the attendees. And so it felt like I was making magic. Very simple code. Anyone who was actually a developer would be like, what? But,
yeah. I mean, I experienced kind of that similar feeling, but even more watered down when I was trying to make something on my Squarespace site, just unique colors. Because on Squarespace, it's like you pick one color and then that's going to be the color for all of your cards or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's boring. I want this to be unique colors. And I went through the whole process of, okay, how do I add this custom CSS? And it's not showing up, so I'm going to put it here. Oh, that's showing up here, but then when I save it, so going through that journey and then it works.
Right. It's the best feeling.
Best feeling ever. So for designers who are scared of coding, what are some words that you would say to them? And is it completely necessary?
I don't think it's necessary, not these days, because a lot of companies would have like a front-end developer and a designer, so you can work with them. There's also tools like Webflow, which is like a visual coding tool in a way. So it is writing code, but you're mostly it's
design first.
Yeah, it's clicking buttons like drag and drop things and, adjust the margins like this, that sort of thing. But I think it's really good for designers to have an understanding of code. Because if you know how something is going to be built, like vaguely, even if you don't know exactly what the code would be to make it, then it's going to make you a better designer. Because you're not going to design something that's going to be super complicated to code and really increase the build time, which makes it more expensive for the company or the client. And yeah, I just think understanding that is really good. So start with HTML and CSS for sure would be my advice. Yeah.
With a designer and front-end developers and back-end developers, you can focus on a few languages, right? Yeah. For you, it's HTML, CSS, and PHP occasionally. Yeah. For front-end and back-end developers, what are the languages common to those?
There's so many.
Yeah.
Like at the moment, I feel like a lot of front-end people are using React, which is a JavaScript framework.
Okay. So I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's like a thing that's popular and it seems to be really good. But yeah, I think you can specialize. The reason I think I was able to learn to code is because I was doing it on the job. So I had a basic understanding of HTML and CSS, which actually came from back in my MySpace days, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Those MySpace days.
Editing my profile. I didn't even know I was learning.
And nowadays it's Squarespace and Wix.
There you go.
Like people are trying to personalize their sites.
Yeah. There you go. So that really helped. And I had this basic understanding. So I was basically filling in all of my gaps by hitting a problem and then Googling to solve it essentially.
And copying and pasting.
Yep. Copying, pasting, understanding why that thing I copy and pasted worked. And just building as I go. I think I find it really hard to learn when I am not doing an actual project. Like I need to be actually making something and it has to have a purpose.
That's when it sticks.
Yes,
because
for
you're
sure.
like, oh, it did that, and that's how it affects the real world. I think that's where a lot of education lacks, is there's not that connect to the real world. And why do you have to wait for your last semester in senior year to have a big project that is realistic?
Yeah. I would say that's one of the main flaws of design school. Wrapping it back around to one of the first questions you asked me, was that the projects weren't real world based. And so a lot of the things about them, like even the fact that you would get a whole 2 weeks to design a poster in design school, in the real world, that's a project you do in a day. So just everything was off. And it was good because it gave us time to learn and experiment and iterate and all of that. But yeah, it just wasn't super realistic to how the design process actually happens.
What is the relationship like between the designer and the developer?
So I think it depends on the company and the designer and developer. How I've done it in past companies, because the reason I had to learn to code is because our company, we don't have a dedicated front-end developer. So I build the pages that I design.
You have to do it.
Yeah, pretty much, which was good. It was a fun challenge. But in the past, I've kind of paired on projects with a developer. So I've talked to them throughout the design process and been like, hey, I'm thinking of designing a carousel this way. Like, how difficult is that going to be to build? And they'll be able to like give me feedback on it. I think that back and forth makes for a really good relationship.
Yeah.
And
so it is very collaborative.
Yeah.
And
in an ideal world, it's very collaborative. Yeah. There are some companies where it's kind
developers
of like
will just get something from. Yeah. So what is a, because I feel like sometimes there's tension, right? What is something that maybe you would say to a developer that's something that they misunderstand about designers?
Okay. Something that I would say to them? I don't know about that.
Or just maybe like a misconception about designers that developers have in their brain about designers.
I think it would be that we think it's all about making things pretty and all we care about is what it looks like. Because that's not at all the case. Like, we have designed this in a certain way, and so we do expect that when it's built, it'll looks this certain way that we designed, because everything is there for a reason, and like it's all designed to solve the problem of like making people click this one button or something like that. But yeah, I think developers can get frustrated if it seems like we're making them do all this extra work and like adding all these extra things just for what it looks like, when it's got nothing to do with how the site actually works, you know? So that's an area of attention that it's on us as designers to explain as well, and be like, this is for a purpose, I promise that I'm not. And that's why that back and forth at the start is good as well, to be like, I'm designing this, how difficult will it be to build? Because then we can evaluate, is it actually worth the time? Yeah.
Is that sometimes an assumption on the designer side that the developers will sometimes just like throw away your work for the ease of use?
Maybe. I don't know if it's always on purpose too, because I've had times where I get a design back from a developer and it looks so very obviously wrong to me. But I'm like, this is when I realize how differently I see things in a design like way to other people, where I'm like, obviously this spacing is different and it should be the same. Or like, obviously this font is a different size to what I had in my design file. To them, like they don't see those details perhaps quite so much. Yeah.
Did you ever have a full freelance career?
Not a full freelance career. I've always dabbled in it, and I always thought that it was something that I would have to end up doing if I wanted to like have the freedom, right? So finding this job right now, I work remotely, and so I have all of the freedom with none of the like dealing with clients, which cool. I love, because I realize that I don't really like dealing with clients that much. It's exhausting to me to have to understand a new problem and a new client and how they want to work and all of that admin side and like upfront stuff. I like digging in and really getting to know a brand that I'm designing for, and being able to stick with it and improve it over time. So in-house design, which is what I do, suits me really well. I don't think working at an agency would suit me for the same reason, that I'd be having new clients all the time.
With your experience with doing client work, how long did usually those projects last for?
Oh, that's like asking how long is a piece of string. Okay. I feel like it really depended on the project and also the timeline. And timelines were always extended for me as well, because I was doing freelance part-time, right, alongside my full-time job. So I would work in the evenings and the weekends. So it had to be a client that was okay with that.
Flexibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Because in a way, also with the YouTuber realm and how I kind of make a living, it has oddly turned into a very client-based business.
Exactly. I find this too with my own channel.
Which I never expected. It's almost like I'm my own creative agency, and I'm taking on different brands and understanding how they fit in with my stuff. And then, that's how, I integrate them in my YouTube channel. But I think for us, because you work with brands as well, it's kind of like best case scenario, because when you're solely a creative agency, the only opinion that matters is the company.
Right.
So we have the unique advantage of having that attention already. So we have a lot of value to bring to the table, so it matters what we say about that.
And we know our audience best too.
Exactly.
And so they are like a stakeholder in this project that we want to make happy.
Exactly. And so it's kind of fun for me, because I feel like when I first started video, I had the idea that I'll probably end up maybe in the agency life and do video content creation for a little bit. And now I've kind of found myself in that spot, but it's so much more fun because you get to make your own stuff and then figure out how to fit other people that align with your vision into that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
In the design YouTube community, is that big? Is that like, has it grown over the past certain years?
I've definitely seen it growing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had an event that you were at earlier this year where we got to hang out at Epicurrents. There was a lot of design YouTube there, which was really exciting. For me, it felt like what I guess VidCon feels like to a lot of people, like maybe to fashion or beauty bloggers where there's a lot of them
Which
there.
is different, because design YouTube, you really don't hear that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. But that felt like design YouTube was there and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Definitely more and more people getting into it, which I think is really exciting. More and more people doing things that aren't just tutorials as well. That was one of the goals for me when I started my channel, was that I didn't want to just make tutorials. I wanted to talk and like vlog about design and talk about the stuff that maybe you didn't hear about in design school, like creative burnout and dealing with contracts and that sort of thing. And so there's more and more people doing that, which I think is amazing. And there's plenty of room for more. So I'm always trying to encourage designers to get into it.
It's exciting. So if you guys are into design out there, I think with YouTube and social media, I think a lot of people think that you need to be broad to get a lot of people. But I think it's so valuable to really like niche in. And because the whole thing with 1,000 true fans, if you find 1,000 true fans, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, exactly.
You can really do whatever you want. Which is funny. That was like one of my questions. So very important to find a niche. Oh yeah. One of my last questions is, in a video recently, you talked about being an introvert. And you are in the creative field, which requires like going to things, being social. So what are some of the hurdles that you face by being an introvert?
I think that as an introvert, I like overthink things a lot, and I'm like a little bit socially anxious all of the time. But the more I've put myself out there, the more I'm like getting over that. But introversion and extroversion is all about where you get your energy from. Do you know what you are? Like, have you done the Myers-Briggs thing?
Yes. So it surprises many people, but I'm an introvert.
There you go.
I think much like you, to where events and things like that, I go to them, but they are so draining.
Yes.
And that is why I can sit down and edit a video for 8 hours alone. Yeah. Because I like it. And that's why I think John and I are good, because he's the same way, but we can be alone together.
Yes.
We might be sitting next to each other and not talking for 3 hours straight, but like, we're together, we're good. That's fun.
That's enough.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's about where you get your energy from. I think there's a misconception that all introverts are like super shy and like don't want to say anything. And that's just not true. I love to spend my energy on talking to people because my personality type is I like really value making good connections and like going beyond that surface level with people. And so spending my energy on having conversations is what I love to do. I just get super tired afterwards and need to recharge.
I like the way you said that too. Like being conscious of how you spend your time and energy, because it is almost a currency. Yeah. Especially if you're an introvert, you really have to value what you're doing in those times. So you do have to be super conscious about it. Yeah,
for sure. And that's where I find myself, if it's a networking event and the conversation is very surface level, I'm like,
peace. See you guys later.
This is not working for me. So
on to the next.
I always want to try. I've been trying to get better at asking people the questions to go beyond that level and not just like expecting them to get there by themselves.
Do you go to a lot of networking events?
I don't know. I guess I do. I guess I have been to a lot this year. I would say no, but I think I have. There's a lot happens in London. Like London is the central hub for so many things. So there's always stuff to go to.
How do you like London? How of a big difference was that in between your hometown and New Zealand?
So the whole of New Zealand, has a population of about 4 million people. London,
that is literally half of the population here in New York. Is
it's
that
half the population of London. I think New York is
because
more
New York
people.
is like 8 or 9 million.
Right. Yeah. So exactly, I went from a whole country of that size to like living in a city that was double that size. So it was a lot to start with. Wow. The sheer size of it too. My commute to work in New Zealand was a 3-minute walk down a couple of blocks, and so then I moved to London and my commute was 45 minutes on the tube and lots of people around. That was difficult to get used to, and why I like working from home now or coffee shops, but I love it. I love how active it is, probably for the same reasons that you love New York. So much happens here and it just feels like people are getting things done,
Oh yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love that you can also, it kind of goes back to that introvert thing, that you can be alone with a lot of people around you. I'm from Texas, so just getting food feels like a mission and a journey, because the clerk can be asking about your life story. Right. And you're like, dude, I don't have time for this. I don't have energy for this, you know? But here, it's just like everyone has something to do. They're on a mission. They're not rude. They just got stuff to do. Yeah. And so you can be alone in big spaces with a lot of people. And if you want to be social, you can have that choice. Yeah. Which is super helpful. So what's your favorite thing about New York, because you're here visiting? I mean, is it similar to London?
I feel like it's more compact than London in a way. Like there's more of these central areas. In London, I feel like there's maybe like 3 areas where people would go, like if you're going to meet up in London. Whereas in New York, I feel like everywhere. London would be like central London, north, which is where like Camden is, or east, which is like Shoreditch. Good. Yeah. Those are like the areas, and I don't live in any of them, so it's it's nice and quiet where I live.
Okay, so I mean, do you like that balance?
I do. I like being able to dip into the city and then come back out to my like quiet little area that has everything I need, that I don't technically have to leave if I don't want to.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I will literally stay in my apartment for 3 days in a row.
There you go.
And only go outside for coffee or something, because that's the only thing that I don't seamless. Right. I get food delivered to me a lot, but you can't have a $3 coffee delivered to you. That would be pretty sad. I mean, you could. New York is where dreams are made of. Yeah. To wrap things up, do you have any exciting projects that you're stoked about? Any endeavors that you want people to check out, or you're just like pumped to talk about?
Well, my focus for next year is going to be working on an online course that I'm really excited about. This year, my focus was public speaking. I try and like set a goal each year. And so I've done like a bunch of events, which was fun. Next year, I'm going to make a course about building up your portfolio. So it's going to go into like choosing your work and like how to talk about it, what photos to have of it, how many to have, and like basically taking people through start to finish, making a really solid online design portfolio to get a job.
Love it. Yeah. Heck yeah. So where can people check you out? Are you Charli Marie TV everywhere?
I am not. Okay. I was not that organized. But charlimarie.com is my website, and that has links to all of the things. That's probably the best place to go. Charli Marie TV is the YouTube, and Charli Prangley on the socials.
Heck yeah, make sure to check her out, guys. And also, so by the time that you're listening to this or watching this, I have probably put out a video about my new website where I bring you through the entire journey of designing it and building it, because I'm not a designer. But yeah, make sure to check out all the links in the description below. Thank you so much for being
Thanks for having
the
me.
Creative Exchange, and new episodes every single Monday, guys. So make sure to listen up on Apple iTunes Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And also the full episodes on YouTube might be changing soon. That's some like branding and things that I'm figuring out right now. Who knows? But guys, until next time, stay peachy. Thanks for joining, Charli.
Thanks for having me.